How to get a business loan without a struggle to get up to 2 million plus in business funding with quote unquote strategic relationships and partnerships without struggling and messing up badly. As you see on the screen there, my name is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions. And if this is the very first time you're watching, I come out with content on all business loans, small business loans, cash advances, hybrids, merchant cash advances, unsecured term loans, SBA loans, everything you can think of. I know all the services. I've helped out a lot of people get funding in. And I don't say this to be quote unquote cocky, but I say it just so you have an understanding of who I am and how I can best help you. I'd say I'd rather be confident and I'm very certain about what I do and how I help people. And so what you're seeing on this screen right now, I wanted to put up for you. These two huge words are going to be everything for you. And a lot of people get business funding incorrectly. Whenever I try to help someone out, and I'll have some examples for you today on what I'm doing, I get people who come to me who already have offers. They want me to break down what it is. Does it really make sense for them? Can I get them something better? Or they probably just come to me very new and they go, hey, I'm looking for business funding for this. I want an substantial amount of funding that I may not even qualify for, but that's what I'm shooting for. And can I get it now or can I get it over time? Usually it's over time that people get it, unless you have very high revenue and your funding details are where they need to be. And why I say without struggling and messing up badly, and we'll see who this person is here in a second. And I showed you guys this just the other day in case you saw it, but just bear with me. I want to reemphasize this segment on the live that I went on just the other day. But many individuals keep going to the wrong lending sources. You end up going to the wrong lender directly or indirectly. A lot of the times when you go the direct route, it can work, but it just doesn't work in your favor. They don't give you the best rates. They don't give you the best terms. They don't probably give you the most amount of funding, the early payment discounts, prepayment penalties, all of these things. And there's a lot more on top of it. They might have a specific average daily bank balance they're looking for. So you didn't get looked at the right lender. There's a way to go at this doing it directly, and there's another way of going it indirectly. Do you want to look like Jan here? As I've said before, with her hand on her forehead, looking to her left, frustrated. She doesn't know what to do anymore. She's tired of all the scams, all the theory, all the fluff. She's not partnering up and having the right roadmap to get her to her end goal. That's the key word, roadmaps. Strategic partnerships and roadmap is what I want to include into this, and it's a part of the title. That's what you need to build. It's a strategic partnership with the right roadmap, and right roadmap in all caps locks. And this is very important because so many of you are misunderstanding how to get business funding. A lot of you guys are saying, hey, how about I get the million and this other person is offering it to me, but it doesn't make sense. They're trying to scam you. They're trying to get you to sign a contract and then take your money or then terminate the contract without you even knowing it. They sell your information to other lenders because they have it with Experian, TransUnion, and a few of the other credit bureaus, where sometimes that information leaks, not when you're with the right partnerships. When you're with me, that won't happen. But when you're with other people, they'll send that information and they'll fire it over to other lenders. And that's how you're getting calls, texts, emails. So do you want to be Jan, who's receiving all those emails, calls, text messages? My God, this broker, this agent under-delivered for me. How bad were they? They gave me the wrong information. They overpromised and under-delivered for me. I have these other online marketplaces where I saw an ad of them on Facebook. I saw one on Google or elsewhere. And I just thought I'd check them out. Let's see what kind of offer I can get. And then you're confused about it. You're like, that's not what I wanted. It's not what I was looking for. But you don't understand because you don't have the right education. Jan here, she doesn't have the right education. She doesn't know what she's getting herself into. She thinks she does because she's heard it. She's heard it from other people. If you go and apply here, just, forward your statements over to that lender or start an application and there will be a robot on the other end who gives you an offer. Do you really want that? Or do you want more of a personalized and customized approach on your best funding option and options, which I'll share with you guys down below in the description. There's an actual free questionnaire I'll show you guys on the share screen if this is the first time you've seen this and haven't filled it out. And if you have, I'll get back to you. I took some time out of my schedule just now. I was filling out quite a bit of questionnaires, and I'm going to get back to them once I'm done with this. So I'm going to come first full circle to you. And those of you who are responsive, it's one thing to submit a questionnaire. It's another thing to check in and say, hi, Michael, I didn't receive that email. Okay, well, now I know because you're responsive. You show commitment, and then it shows you're ready to take action. Now, it's a whole nother question to say, will these offers or will this program make sense to you? And I'll make it make sense to you. I'll show you the roadmap. And if it's not what you need right now, what can you do in the future? So I'm never going to pressure you to do something you don't want. So don't be like Jan here, who's confused, stressed, overwhelmed, feeling like there's nowhere else to turn to because everybody's overpromised and underdelivered. She got a robotic response. She's just ending her day. She receives this email from a broker or 10 different people who are like, hey, there's this offer you applied to, and why don't you take it? There has to be better. Or if that's the best offer I can get, I need a better education on what I can do better. How can I build myself a roadmap? And I'm going to show you guys that roadmap in just a second. I see you guys commenting. Hi, Carmina. How are you doing? Let me move this over and see what you had to say. No, don't respond back to the people. So she's saying, do they work for you? Are they okay? So here's what I want to say to Carmina and everybody else in here just watching me for the first time and maybe haven't heard this before. There are people in my comment section, and I know I didn't say this in the beginning, who will comment. I'm not associated with any of them. They are scammers. Yes, they are. A lot of them are. Others will be righteous. Other ones will be like, hey, they're just people who I've spoken to in the past or new people, and they have the right intention. But there are other people who will come in and be like, hey, text Cardiogram or Telegram. Don't do that. And then they do a follow train with somebody comments, and then other people will comment underneath it. So I'm not associated with them. Don't put those and me together. It just happens. Like I can't block. It's like what happens on TikTok. I can only block so many, and I'm not always on it every single second of the day to comment, to always get into direct messages. So the best way to get a hold of me and the best way of getting that security is to go through that questionnaire down below. I'll leave for you, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. So back to this, and I'm going to get into another share screen in a moment and show you guys the right strategic approach and the right roadmap. So coming back to this title, strategic partnerships and the right roadmap. What I mean by it is you don't just go and apply blindly to any lender. I'm not going to start naming them, okay? Because I am partnered with them directly, and then I have indirect partnerships with brokerages where I have those partnerships with those direct lenders, if it makes sense. I don't want to confuse you guys. So a lot of the times you shouldn't go directly. You have to go through a brokerage where we have multiple lenders associated, and I have those direct lender partnerships as well. But the reason I prefer going that way, and I know usually the outcomes, is because you get to get seen by different lenders. We're not getting your information and shooting it out, and everybody's going to be calling you or texting you and emailing you. We're not doing that. We have privacy. Other places will do that, so you have to be careful about where you go to. But with me, that won't happen. We're not getting your information and just sending it over to banks, and they're going to be calling you. We're not doing that. We're protecting your privacy. And what happens, like I said earlier, a lot of these times, there are these things where it gets sent to from like Experian, TransUnion. Sometimes it gets released from other people trying to grab that information, and it gets sent out to others. But we won't do that for you. That doesn't happen. Your privacy is well protected. Security as well. So strategic partnerships just means, hey, if it's not always a direct lender I have to go to immediately, well, how about this other program, which I will show you a lot of. Sometimes it makes sense to go to a direct lender. Other times it doesn't. And if I go, well, the way you build this relationship and the way you don't become Jan right here, who's like, well, somebody offered me $600,000 in a line of credit, and they were just trying to scam you. They were a company based in New York. They weren't a direct lender like they were saying. They're just going to shoot your information out to everybody else. You don't qualify. Now they have your information. Now they're going to keep calling you, and you won't qualify for what they gave you. They just want you to get into their system so they can make money. And that's what it is. It's a quick turnaround. They're not really caring about you and your personality and you and your personable side, and as well as in your business. So as opposed to that, I care about you personally as well as in business. and making sure you go the right way. So strategic partnerships, and I'll get into some of the steps. That means you have to understand, if I'm starting with this cash advance on a daily repayment, why did I start there? Not only why didn't I maybe not get the most amount? Why didn't I get the right terms? Why didn't I get the right rates, etc., the right early payment discounts? I will clarify all of that for you, especially in that email questionnaire. And then the next part is, hey, well, if I started here, what is my next step? Like if I partnered up with this lender and this company and Michael, and I partnered with this other person who has connections with his underwriters and his lenders, well, how about in 3 to 6 months, when I pay this off, I can go up a higher level. Maybe I go in getting more funding underneath the same daily repayment, lessen the terms. I mean, greater the terms this time and then lessen the rates. Or I go from a daily to a weekly now. And then maybe from a weekly, I go to a monthly with another lender who's willing to come in on a first position, possibly pay off the remaining over 50, 80, 90% of the balance. And now I'm on a monthly repayment. And then that monthly repayment then turns into an SBA loan as I grow in revenue. But because I took the funding that will grow my profits in the short and or long term, my revenue, my net income, your net income loss, your profitability of your business. That's the way you do this. It's not, I'm going to go and apply for 10 different places and I'm going to go see who approves me. And then I'm going to start with them. And then I'm going to go get another advance. And then I'm going to try to get another loan. And then now your fourth position's in. But because nobody educated you, you decided to do things your way. You tried to stack loans, and that wasn't the way to do it. You try to stack cash advances. Now you put yourself in a bad position. Maybe you paid off way over 50% of the balance. Maybe we gave you a fourth position. But that fourth position, we look to get clear of it in about 1 to 2 months. Once we clear that 1 to 2 months, then we can say, hey, those other 2 to 3 positions, now you have one position only. And now a monthly lender comes in, gives you an unsecured term loan with the monthly repayments as opposed to the daily and or weekly. And then from there, you have a better tier lender that comes in. And then we get you the 300 to 400 to 500,000 that you were asking for originally. Thereafter, we move you into an SBA loan 3 to 6 months down the road. And guess what? Now you have 5, 7, 10 years in working capital, if not more, for purchasing an existing business, equipment, real estate. But because you built it with the right strategic partnership and you had the right roadmap, like I shared with a lot of people this week, you did it correctly and not incorrectly. And that's just one example. I'm going to get into the share screen. Another part of the share screen to show you more. So this is Jan right here, who is pretty frustrated. She's at the point, at her breaking point. All we need is her forehead to be red, right? And that's because she's just feeling all that rushing pain, not because she's, doing anything else, but because she's just fed up with it. She's not happy. Everybody's telling her this and that. You've gone through the wrong sources. You've gone through a company that's, you see all these comments on their Facebook ads that they're advertising. You see them online. They have to be credible, right? Perhaps they are. Perhaps they don't have the best lenders. That's the problem. They don't always have the best lenders. And they don't give you the roadmap. Like, you built it with this lender, with my partnership. Okay, now you got to move up here, this lender or the same lender. But you are expected to do this. How do you get to the SBA loan? How do you get to the top of a mountain? You just get to the top of the mountain when you haven't prepared for it. It's a very steep one. You're trying to climb up to Mount Everest. What do? They're preparing years on years. They're working within their company to have the cash flow. That's what the best thing you can do for yourself. Prepare to grow and expand your business. You may need capital to get even more cash flow into your business. There are certain ways to increase your profitability. A lot of the things that are happening in today's market with today's inflation, the interest rates going up, is a customer problem. There are many, but one of them may be your customer retention. You're failing to get enough customers in the door, but secondly, retain them. And that's why you're losing. And that's why you don't have the right contracts, the right bids, whether you're in B2B or B2C. Supply chain issues, partial or full shutdown of your business. And there are a lot more. I'm not going to cover that now. I covered it in a different video. So right here, are you Jan? Or do you want to win big? Do you want to have the right roadmap? and look like Lisa here, as I've said before. Look at her. She's just smiling. She's glowing. Her cheeks, her face may be red, but that's because she's been out in the sun for 3, 4 hours without another thought on her mind, but to just relax, to soak in the water that's right in front of her as she sees the waves blowing in and out. They pick up, they get calm. And kind of like yourself, you're that ocean right now where there's a lot of rain coming down, pouring on the water. You have a lot of stress, so the waves are piling, hitting. But not here where she is. She sees a reflection of her inner self in her external world. As the waves come in, it's very calm and peaceful. She can afford to take 3 to 6 months off and not worry about her business being in a crunch or in a hole that she needs to now work in to get out of. Instead of just always working in her business, she can finally see it from the outside in. She can afford this time for herself. Take that vacation that she's always desired to take. That's the reality, guys. If you want that to be you, you have to honestly, truthfully build the right partnership and the right relationships and the right roadmap. Until you do that, I guarantee you 150,000%, and I say this with real meaning because I care and tough love, you're going to keep chasing the next hit. You're going to keep chasing the next thing that's quote unquote new. Well, I have already a relationship with this lender. Maybe it wasn't with me. Well, that lender has to expire. It's time. They're offering you more on a first position or in a second position. So are we in this format. But have they told you that after you go this route, then this opens up the door to this? No, they haven't. Because they don't want you to. They don't want you to go that route. They don't educate you on that. Now you're stuck with this person paying for a much longer term than you would have with this other option had you have done it this way. I know it all doesn't make sense to you right now, especially if you haven't received funding and even if you have received funding. But it will in time, and you'll be appreciative of all this information that I am giving you because not everybody, actually nobody really does give you this. I'm being honest with you. You guys can't find this easily. I even train other brokers. Like I'm up here. I'm not saying that for like be cocky. I'm not a cocky person at all. I'm saying that so you understand my positioning, especially in the marketplace and how I can help you. And I spread this knowledge, and I want you guys to understand that this is what you need to do. Unless you feel like, hey, my way is better. He doesn't understand me, or he just doesn't get it. I do. It's more of a question of how much have you opened up? How much have you been honest when I've asked you questions? Like right now, like today, I had people who didn't take their offers. I said I would be talking to them in about a week. Probably they didn't want to talk again in a week. So they declined some offers. I'll still probably reach out to them and see where their thoughts are. And they'll probably give me the same answer. And they probably haven't readjusted like I've told them to. Shame on them. If you haven't readjusted and you expect the same results or better, my question is, are you even running a business? A lot of us are scrambling like to run our business, to keep it afloat. There are a lot of us who are like, hey, we have enough cash flow within our business. We don't have to keep locating money. Our supply chain, everything is fine in our business, our operations. Once in a while, I'll need money just to have it. But I need it for growth and expansion. I have these bigger projects. So back to the share screen, and then we'll go into some examples. So be the example like Lisa is here for your children, for yourself, for your spouse, for your external family, your friends and family, your employees, co-workers, whatever you call it, your colleagues. Do you want to be the business owner who goes, hey, yeah, I mean, not everybody's open to admitting that they have to get funding, especially if you're in a scramble. I get it. I've been there, done that. Even at the higher levels, even if you're not in a scramble, you're like, you don't want to be as open about it, or you may. Or if it's for growth and expansion, maybe, yeah, I'll be more open. Maybe. You want to be able to do that the most easiest way, simplest way possible? Or would you rather complicate your life? You have better things to do with it instead of wasting it trying to figure out, does this other company work? Does that one work for me? Let's go back down here. So here we have, let's call Adam. All right. We'll call him Adam in this one. Look how happy he is. He has that look on his face because not only did he just receive the funding, he knows how he's using this funding to his maximum capacity. He knows what return on his investment he'll be getting. He was well prepared before applying for funding. He knew his education on what he was getting. He knew this wasn't just like a home equity line of credit or I'm going to go get a home mortgage, commercial mortgage, insurance, because they don't work the same way. He knew that his business was going to triumph, especially in these kind of times. Oh, well, I'm putting $1 in, getting $5 out. I'm getting a new piece of equipment, already adding on top of this, so I can then go from 40,000 to 60,000 in the next 2 months, and then keep that consistently over the next 5+ years until I have to get new equipment. I have new inventory, new products on the shelf that probably have been sitting there for a long time, but I have these other products that have been selling much faster. I need to clear more inventory, especially the new ones. And there are a lot more reasons. Business operational expenses, maybe coming in as a secondary use on top of his primary, or vice versa, but we have to approach it from the right lender. Now, here's the step-by-step process, and I've said this before. Step 1, you find the right broker and agent, and then I'm going to say here, to strategically partner with, and don't miss this part, have the right roadmap. I'm going to show you guys what I mean by a roadmap in a moment. And I've said it a little bit here, so I've already alluded to it. But do you have the right? I'm not talking about a representative at a company. I'm not talking about a financial advisor, the lender, or the underwriters, or whoever's in it. All right. I'm talking about somebody like myself who can actually help you get education, some entertainment there. If you guys have seen my dry sense of humor, you know what I'm talking about. Education, entertainment, and then just follow-ups. And you are going to give feedback when it's asked for, not just completely go ghost like Homer Simpson. If you guys saw my broadcasted email recently, or you may get it in time. But feedback is most important in this process. We're a team. I understand you better on a personal level. I'm very appreciated that you were able to do that. Now, however much you open up, that's just on you. It's okay. I'm not saying you have to go through the 20 layers of brick. Tell me everything you're doing. Like you give me a day planner on a Saturday. You're like, oh, I'm going to go get some ice cream at 4 o'clock. And I'm kidding. But it depends. If I've built a strong enough personal relationship with you, it's amazing. It just goes even in a longer distance. And I won't bug you. I'll just say, hey, how are you doing, John? John, I haven't spoken to you. How's your family? So I do care. I don't just look at this as from a business perspective. So step 2, that also goes into the feedback. Feedback. Will you be there for me as I am for you, both personally and in the business? That's your question you should be asking yourself before you even go and apply. Now, do you need the offer? Is what we get to at the last stage. So what I mean by that is, even before you apply, you have to be asking yourself, like I said in step 2, will I be giving this guy my feedback? Like if he asked for this in the beginning or in the underwriting stages at the end, will I not go ghost? Will I not disappear? If times get tough, I have to submit extra documentation. I didn't like the offer. That's not a way to go. It's not just, oh, I didn't like this. I'm going to be very discreet. I'm just going to go away. And if you need to think about it, I get it. You can even tell me, hey, let me think about it. You don't have to even give me a day or time, but I'll just check in with you maybe 2 to 3 days or so down the road. Are you still interested in this? If not, I won't say, please tell me, just why are we dragging this out? You understand the benefits. I conveyed it to you, why it makes sense. And again, I will never pressure you to take something out of my benefit. Sorry about that phone call. And so you have to align with your goals. And if those goals don't align, the benefit does not exceed the repayment. You have this fictitious assumption, this entitlement, this I deserve this attitude, and it doesn't come to fruition. What will you do then? I'll tell you what. If you don't have the education, if you didn't go through my questionnaire, or if you didn't get the information I needed to convey to you in another way, that or you're going to get to the offer, you're going to say, well, they didn't offer me what I wanted at these terms, at these rates. And guess what? It's because you didn't have the right education. So I may put a course together. It's a understanding of how many people actually watch it and complete it. Some of the videos, I may make them longer, but some of them may be shorter. I'm still working on that over time. But you guys have to have this understanding of those 3 steps. Having the right strategic approach, the roadmap is the most important. I'm going to get into that next. The feedback, and then step 3, do you have the right offer? Well, we can discuss that. Now, let me go into this other document. One moment. So this will look familiar to plenty of you. I've showed this document in the past, but I added an additional piece to it. So let me come to it. It's over here. Okay. So what I've done here is I've given you guys an example of when somebody submits my questionnaire form. And I should probably show you guys that now. One second. It's another screen. So what you're seeing there is a result that I get in my email inbox after you guys submit my questionnaire. And this is what I'm talking about. If you haven't filled this one out, what I can do is I can help you get the business funding you need fast. You can complete this questionnaire form below to get a personalized and customized email response for your best funding option and options. Plus get a free 6-step pre-approval lending checklist to get you approved for funding much faster. So I've added to this questionnaire, and it'll ask for things like your name, your email, phone number, mobile preferred. It's not to hassle you or harass you or anything like that, or pressure. It's just to say, hey, I sent you an email on this. Please check this subject line. Funding amount that you're requesting, your time in business. Is it years or months? Please specify. Don't just give me a number or leave it blank. A lot of these fields are required, so it's in your best benefit to fill it out thoroughly. FICO credit score. It's not going to be used against you. I'm not a creditor. This is very safe and secure. This is not an application. Again, this is for me to give you a ballpark, to get you your best funding options, to show you everything broken down, pro tips, a conclusion on what you should do, your roadmap in that conclusion, the intro, the qualifications, how it works, the numbers if necessary, comparisons, what you should skip, what you shouldn't, options that you wouldn't qualify for now, but could qualify for in the future. And you'll see all of that. Do you have business credit established? Please specify. It makes a major difference on certain services you can qualify for. It can completely take you away from some. Lowest monthly revenue in the last 3 months. Average monthly revenue, your average daily bank balance, your annual gross revenue, use of funds. None of these 3, please go through and scroll. Existing business loan / advance, yes or no? Business industry, what's your business name? Any additional notes you'd like to share? This is your moment. And I usually, these days I have it required, so make sure you tell me. If there's nothing, put none. Sometimes it may not be required. I may take that off, but it's in your best interest, especially if you tell me your use of funds are for expansion. What expansion projects? Too much to tell? Well, give me just enough of it. Maybe a phone call will be necessary for me so I can hear more about what this expansion project or what it is you're exactly trying to do. And sometimes a phone call isn't necessary. We don't have to go through that. I can just do it all by email and text. Just know you're dealing with somebody who's very legitimate. So here is kind of what it would look like, more or less. Page may be looking different over time, but fill that out. And what ends up happening is here, let me show you guys. I'm just going to quickly just put some stuff here and show you guys the result of this if you haven't. And I have another video that I made on what this actually looks like. I know it's your guys' Friday and you're thinking, well, where do I go to apply for business funding today? You know, the weekend's coming. You can get all this stuff done and taken care of The person who overworks, you don't have to overwork, is not what I'm saying. But if you want to put in that time to do it, get it to me on the weekend so I have all the information. Come Monday, you're already 3 steps ahead of somebody else. I don't know. Okay, let's just do this. Just put in some random stuff. Just put viral there. Yes. Inventory of 100,000 I'm expecting for 85% of my funds going there. Going there. To add new products, equipment, cargo van. I don't know. It's something like this, right? You don't even have to give me the percentage like that. I'm just giving you an example, but more specifically is better. And that I actually take into consideration on what you can get. It does make a big difference. I need to know what your funds are going for, not just expansion, purchasing equipment. Well, if you're trying to purchase an existing business too, make sure you put your existing business in here, not the business you're trying to acquire. Put your existing business. And if you don't have one, it'll be quite difficult to get it for a startup acquisition or, if you're a complete startup, because we look at your existing business or businesses to make a determination of that, if you can get that existing business and a little bit more. So put your existing one. A lot of people don't do that. It's okay. I'll make it aware. And so once you fill out this information, make sure you do that with all fields. Be honest about it. You'll submit it. And then it'll bring you to a page that could look like this. Maybe I'll change a little bit here or there. Maybe it'll look different, but it'll say something like, you're all set. We received your information. Follow-up email is being emailed over by myself, my name. Also, I'll highly likely be sending you another email in response to your details submitted. Please look in all folders necessary, spam, junk box, promotions tab, main inbox, use the search feature if necessary, etc. Sometimes my emails land in the spam in the beginning, but in the meantime, choose your preferred funding loan type or advance type. So here we have working capital / cash advance. A lot of people go here. This is actually my number one recommended. It's where a lot of people end up going too. And then there's the unsecured term loan for getting the lump sum at once as well, using for bigger purchases with longer term return on your investment, 665 FICO required. This one comes with 1 to 2 years. This one comes with 4 to 24 months as well, but this is through a cash advance, a hybrid, not a traditional merchant cash advance. So there's a lot of benefit to this one. And then 1099 gig workers, self-employed funding, startup loans, purchasing existing business lines of credits there, accounts receivables, equipment, assets-based SBA loans, bank terms, real estates, and there could be quite a bit more, and there's not sure. You can click that. And I could add to this in more time. I got to update a little bit, but you'll see some of those things, especially with like personal loans and all that. So it'll look like this more or less. And if you clicked one of these, let's say you clicked on the working capital, then you could be brought to a video that looks like this. Watch it, read it, start now. Watch this video where I'll review what exactly you're getting yourself into. Underneath that, I may have an update. You'll probably see some information here that's in the best benefit. The application process for this program, these lenders, and line of credit has been updated. It may look different. So you may have to click a button here that opens up a new tab. And I'm not showing you that now. But over here, then you can click this. You must be careful of transferring your funds from one bank account to another as this is an issue, blah, 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 blah. You can read a little bit more there. It'll open up a new tab. And it can give you more information there as to that. And then over here, you click on this. You can see the updated application, and it'll bring you to that share screen to get started. And then over here, click here to get started. And you can go, might take you to a quiz. It might take you directly to the lenders. It might take you directly to a brokerage, but etc. That's what the expectation would be. And if you go to something like this, here, I'll just leave it like that and open up this one. We'll just leave it as it is. So what will happen is in my other tabs that I'm looking at, it'll take you into a questionnaire. Maybe you have to submit a quick quiz just so you comprehend it and you actually watched what I was talking about in here. You just didn't click it. Okay. No, it might take you to a pre-qualification loan quiz. What did you watch in that video? Do you have 6+ months, 4+ months in business? Are you a startup or non-startup? Do you make 15K or 5K, 3K plus? What are we talking about here? Or it might take you directly to them, but you have to comprehend what you're watching. And so over here, there's an application I'm looking at on another screen that's been updated over time. So you guys can get a better understanding of what you'll go through, especially the terms and the rates. If you want to learn more in the underwriting guidelines, it's all in there. But do you take the time to do it? That's another question. And so going back to, let's open up this other page. And let's go through a quick questionnaire example and show you a roadmap to this. Okay, this is the one we saw earlier. Remember how I said, once you fill out that questionnaire, I'm going to get it in my email. I'm going to then evaluate it and analyze and give you guys a proper email response. And I'll show you kind of what that email looks like in a moment. So please stick with me. And so I just took out some of the names. I adjusted some of the numbers and information just so it wouldn't be, just to disclose information from my clients. So I gave you guys an example. You put your name, your email, phone number, mobile preferred, so I can send that text out, not get a business number or have to deal with your gatekeeper. And I'm still yet to deal with a few people who gave me the wrong number. I had to call one person, and then I sent them their email response, but they never got back. And so they're playing this cat and mouse game that I do not like. I don't have the energy and time for. Please do not waste it. If you don't want the best, don't come to me. Go to somebody else who's going to send you an automated response. Well, I got it in 2 days. Yeah, but what did you get in 2 days? No. See, now it sounds like a broken record or a machine gun. We don't want that. So your name, your email, and I'm not saying this to be negative or aggressive, guys. This is just some tough love that's coming your way. I care for you. Your phone number, mobile preferred. Don't give me the wrong one. I have people this week who, I don't know if they intentionally did it, but their email was also wrong. I haven't contacted them back because I'm not playing this cat and mouse game. They know that I called them. I left them an email, a message. Now, if the gatekeeper wants to give them that information, they can. And if they want to call me back, they can. Send me a text if my voicemail box is full, because sometimes it is, and I have to clear it from time to time. Send me a text. You couldn't even have done that at the least. And even if you had my number, it's even worse. Sometimes you don't even have it. I get it. But funding amount, $200,000 they're looking for. Time in business, they have 3 years and 11 months. So just about to get 4 years in. Credit, not desirable. That shows me that you're taking on a lot more debt. Shows me that maybe you have some late payments. You're not able to do this and that. Or perhaps you just had a rough month. Now you're trying to get back up in the next month, if I understand your situation. Business credit established? No. Your monthly sales? Okay, you're doing $27,000 in your lowest last 3 months. Nice. Average monthly revenue, you're doing about $35,000. Okay. Average daily bank balance, you have $20,000. Whoa, very nice. It's better than having 1,000 or less than 1,000, which looks negative to a lot of us. Above 1,000 is what you want. Not even the minimum. You want to have more than that if possible, so we can get you more. Oh, annual gross revenue, not bad. Okay, good. 260,000 plus. And again, I just kind of went through it quickly, so it could be a lot more than that. And then drop down expansion. All right. Now, no existing business loan, which is awesome. Like, we don't have to come in another position, or we don't have to clear something off first. It's an EIDL loan, again, that doesn't affect you getting like an SBA 7A loan or cash advance and other types of business loan. They're not directly correlated. It won't usually cause a reduction. But business industry, oh, you're in transportation. Business name, I took that out, so let's just put NA there. And then use for the field here. What is your use of funds? So we can put use of funds. And I'll see some of this. You might not see it all. Use of funds field. Use for marketing, daily operations, and I have to pay some vendors. You could have been a little bit more specific if you could. That would be something I appreciate. Maybe not as specific, but again, please, more information, the better. Transportation expansion, what does that mean if there's nothing here? Does it mean you want a new truck? You're looking for $200,000? Is your truck the primary reason? And then secondary per payroll, how much payroll? Like, that's the questions that I'm asking. And so with a situation like this individual I already sent them, like, a lot of them. Like, I sent them their emails today. Like, you're not getting an SBA loan. And I put it at the very beginning. I don't always have to say it there, so I'll move it towards the bottom. No, you're not getting an SBA loan. An EIDL loan, you can forget about it right now. SBA 7A, 504, you're not getting one. Because, well, you cleared the 2+ years. You could have even had just 2 years. More time is better, specifically in the transportation space. But let's say with 2 years there, 12 months or so. Maybe you're about to hit 3 years, which is good. Your credit, nope, it's not in the 660, preferably 680 is usually what it is, 680 and above. But the minimum is not even enough. You have to have a 700, if not a 725 and above in today's market. Clean credit, maybe not the case. We spoke already. You're telling me you have all this debt you're accumulating. You want to get a loan or an advance beforehand. This is the best route, not the SBA. All SBA 7A, Express, Standard, those won't work right now, but over time they can. If you get to this and this, and I'll get to the roadmap in a moment. So no business credit established. Nope. No SBA loans. No unsecured term loans. No personal loans. Sometimes no equipment financing options because you don't have that established. And that's a huge ding on you if you're looking for a vehicle through traditional equipment financing, let alone a lump sum or a line of credit. You won't even qualify for all those options. A line of credit, especially, sorry, out of the picture. You won't even get that much to get you close to that 200K. But because you have this, we can look at a cash advance, maybe a hybrid cash advance where it's not based on a fixed percentage of your daily sales. You get taken out. If you make more, you make less. It's not fluctuating. It's not just based off of credit card transactions and credit card processing 100%. It's based off of all wire, ACH, checks, deposits, cash. Be careful about how you're transferring because that can disqualify you. And I came out with the video on that the other day on that being a problem. And then I have another video on the 8 bank statement issues I may have down below in the description for you to check. So no, okay, right? So used for marketing, how much? Like, what are they producing? I may have to get on a call with them. Or you may have just told me this here and we can get on with it. For every dollar you put in, you're getting $3 out. Great. And what's the exact campaigns you're running? For how long do you expect this to go? Okay. Daily operation. So you're using it for growth and expansion. Great. And then your secondary use, you're using it for just daily business operations and expenses for overhead. And then you have to pay some vendors. Okay, we understand that. So a big chunk of this, over 75% of it is going towards this. So it's going to grow your revenue from 35 to about 45,000. You're paying back on 35,000. Let's say you got 35,000. Average that. We look at the lowest amount. You usually get approved between 75%. Let me put this down here in case you don't know this. 75 to about 150%, if not 200%. Sometimes 100 to 150 or 100 to 200%. Other depends on the service. But with these details, you're doing over 15,000. You get a chance between 75 to 200%. Now, it depends on your average daily bank balances, your daily sales. Have you gone backwards? Are you going upwards? Non-sufficient funds, negative days, insufficient funds, all these different things that we look at in bank statements and more. If I need more documentation, usually it's low doc with some of these. So if you're getting that, you can only, if you started with 35K, and I've seen situations like this, and it's a predicament of your average daily bank balance. In this case, you may be getting more than 35K. If you're doing 27K, probably doing a little bit double that. Probably getting somewhere around 40 to 50,000, at least to start with. And then looking at some of the other situations with the credit to factor and time in business and the reports, as well as the business bank statements. But if I gave you a projection to say, hey, maybe a ballpark range, and this is not set in stone, it's based on some experience that I've seen and what I've known to come across. It's not set in stone. We have to still go through the app sequence. If you had this is what the daily repayments, weekly, bi-weekly, and a monthly. Well, I don't want a daily repayment. Well, if the repayment doesn't make sense, it's way above the benefit. Of course, you're not going to move forward with it. Well, I'm going to go see if I can find the lowest price. What did we talk about in the beginning? Right. You're just going to go over there, make a mistake. I should have listened to you, Michael. I didn't build the right partnership. I'm ignorant. You're not ignorant. You're just misled. You don't have the right information, so you've been programmed to only think one way. I was there. I know how hard it is. And so this individual, they're not going to get equipment traditionally because they don't have business credit. Their credit is low. They have revenue that would qualify for them for it. But ultimately, it's because they have thin credit. They haven't built 2 to 3 plus accounts, no trade lines. They haven't built that business credit. Dun & Bradstreet, just building it with Dun & Bradstreet is not enough. Just saying, hey, I've done the 7 steps or so. No, you got to start building some accounts, buddy. You got to start going up. I don't say any of this to be demeaning. I say it to be as accurate as possible. And the reality hurts if you're not there. It has to hurt. If it doesn't hurt, there's not enough reason for you to change. So that's just one example. I have other ones up here. Let me see. Yeah, here's more of them. I'm not going to go through all of these. I made a separate video on it. I might link you guys to. But here's another one. Funding amount 40,000. Years in time in business 5. Credit 660. No business credit established. But I want a 1 to 2 year term. That won't work. Sorry. No business credit established. You're just above the deposits and then the annual revenue that you're doing. Demonstrated use for these funds. Yeah, shows you have it. And you're going to produce something bigger with a bigger ROI in the future as well as in the short term if necessary. On top of this, how much payroll, how much debt consolidation do you have going on? So it's not necessarily that you always have to get the best terms, but you have to get the best repayment for yourself and what makes sense. So there are a lot of examples that I came across here. I said it in a different video. Now let me move on over here to this other screen. This is what it could look like for you. So when you submit a questionnaire, I will come back to you with an email response. And again, you can start right away in the thank you page and make sure you go through the information. You can ask me questions too, and I'll have this questionnaire hopefully submitted back to you soon. All right, and then I put your name there. It's who it is from. It's me. In case you forgot, the loan broker. Sometimes people do forget. Who are you? Thanks for submitting your details for, and I'll say exactly for what you're doing it for. Purchasing equipment, inventory, expansion, to take care of your construction, trucking, retail, logistics, trading. I don't know. It can vary depending on your customization. I've carefully reviewed your information and it looks good. And I'm going to show you your best options, but first, sometimes I might say, however, this may look different to you. And I've updated the way I've done this. I've iterated my emails. So I give you the best action to take. So description, we have this program, based off of your revenue, based on the last 3 months, and then there are other alternatives to this program. So it'll look like this. I'll say, hey, best option. It might be in green up here where I highlighted it, or it might be in black. So I might have it where it's in green like this, and I might have more information. You're getting something different than someone else's. It's more personalized and customized. Qualifications. You have a business checking account. It must be in the name of your business for this specific purpose in this service, not a personal account you're using for business. Online banking, is it set up? No more than 5 non-sufficient funds or negative days in any of the last 3 months. Are you doing 5K plus? It might be 15K plus, maybe sometimes 20, 25K, 3K plus. Do you have an EIN number? Current loan consideration, if you have a current capital advance. Background checks we go through. Any delinquencies, past fraud, financial fraud, submitted altered bank statements. A lot more goes into this. Do you maybe any kind of legal issues you're getting into? So then I'll go into how it works. I'll show you the breakdowns, our underwriting. I'll give you some examples there of what you can look at getting. The application to get started right then and there. Extra supplemental video in case you need to watch that video review again, or you didn't see it, but you wanted to see separately what are the rates, what are the terms, what are the expectations. Business line of credit. There again, I'll say, hey, this probably isn't the best option, or this is, so skip it. And then we'll get all the way down to the conclusion. And there's more to this. This isn't just what you get is crazy good. And it's all from me, right? I'm taking the time on these files. So at the very bottom, you will see a conclusion. Sometimes you'll have to click on a blue hyperlink to view the entire message because it couldn't fit in one. And so you may have to do that, and that's fine. Take the time to do it. Don't be lazy. Don't be one of those business owners. So conclusion, I'll have it down at the bottom. Sometimes it'll be in bold black, or it could be like in a blue like that or something similar. And I'll say, hey, over here. So overall, I would go with the up to 2 million option with, and I may give you the lenders directly, or maybe the brokerage and how we deal with direct lenders in that format, how that's in the best interest for you to do based on your circumstances. With, and then I may name who, and start there without collateral, no hard credit checks, no documentation, and bad credit is acceptable. Or I'll say something like bad credit is acceptable. And I might even say no business credit needs to be established or needs to be looked at. Okay. And so then I might say, or you saw the line of credit and you did qualify because of based on things. And if I haven't seen the consumer reports yet, you may want to send them to me. And I may look at them and say, hey, well, we need to fix this, improve this. This is just a matter of repairing it through credit repair. Or if you know your stuff and I ask you those questions, do you meet these? Like I'll say it in the questionnaire. If not, then it's an indication that you're taking on too much debt, too many inquiries in the last 3, 6, 9, 12 months. Credit utilization is just way too high, debt to income ratio, late payments, bank liens, UCC liens, blanket liens, foreclosures, bankruptcies just recently. No, we cannot accept you. You have legal issues. I'm sorry. You didn't clean your credit like we told you to. You waited too long to receive funding when you came in initially the first time. Shouldn't have waited. Now we don't give you the right offer. We deduct. And those are some examples we gave people just recently because of some issues they have come across their circumstances. And we couldn't get them the amount that they got when they applied the first time. But because you had this other expectation and I cleared it up with you, maybe you went in one ear and went out the other. But this is what happens. This is your reality and it's your wake-up call. Or you saw the line of credit and I go and would like to use it for COVID relief if that was your primary use of funds, and or like to use it for COVID relief or even for growth and expansion. But what I would do when you go through the app is to select both. So we evaluate you for both the line of credit and the working capital lump sum. So that's in your best interest. I would always recommend 10 times out of 10 is selecting the two. Don't just select one unless you're very certain that that's the one. And we went through it and we know that is the possibility, the highest chance that you can get approved for it. And don't be stuck upon if I didn't get a line of credit or I didn't get a loan. Well, what do we have to do to fix it? Or you also have, in this case, when they didn't have business credit established, so you also have the 401k, maybe it's IRA financing, right? You have the HELOC, or you have a few other options, or you have assets. Then you can do asset-based financing through liquidity or equity invested into your real estate property. Check that out. So you can have maybe lower interest. We don't have to factor in your credit as much or your revenue. We're looking at property at this point, and to get 250,000, we have to take as much equal to, if not more or less, and we get you a lower rate. Probably get you from 7 to 15% or so. All right, and so that's how you approach this. If you don't want those 19 to 50% and above, well, do you have collateral sufficient? All right, what do you have? I have this piece of equipment. I have multiple. They're appreciating, and we're looking at the market. All right, the lenders are willing to take this on top of, or it might just be that. All right, you have accounts receivables. Do you have unpaid invoices, equipment, real estate, unpaid invoices, inventory, and then there are a lot more. But those are like the primary ones. All right, and then I would say something like, I wouldn't submit this information to everyone, or like every lender or every lender/company, because it will actually hurt you. It will actually hurt you more than do good, because the lenders can see it when you apply anywhere and everywhere. Because let's be honest, that's what you're doing. You're not just, I know what I'm getting. No, you're just applying anywhere and everywhere. It's usually the case. If you know what you're doing, kudos. And the lenders don't like this. Don't like this. I may not have it like that, because they can see that you're not being serious. You're complaining. You're crying. You're like, oh, well, I didn't get the offer I wanted. I'm going to go apply over here. They didn't give me the right amount. Or don't do that. Don't be that person. Be the person who goes to the right strategic partnership and the right roadmap. And I'm showing you the roadmap right here. So I would start here. Boom, boom. And then I'm going to say this. Actually over here. Actually, I should skip that part, and I'm going to go right here. So the roadmap, I may have this, I may not have it all the time, but you see it as it is. So the roadmap is to do this. Start with the up to 2 million option. I know you're like, well, the rates, I didn't probably get the amount that I wanted, or I'm not going to get that. Well, you have to start somewhere. If you're complaining, well, I didn't get the 100,000 in a lump sum. I just want to have the money there when I need it, and it's not used for growth and expansion, so it's going to be expensive money. Well, you have to start somewhere, don't you? What's the repayability on this? Well, it's $300, $400 a day. You can't afford a lower payment. Do you not understand? Like, I have to come across a lot of people where I say it in a very respectful way. I'm never negative or aggressive. You're hearing my tonality now because I'm trying to emphasize this to you guys. I have a $400 repayment and I'm paying $2,000 a week, and I have to pay back $8,000 a month on when I'm doing $60,000, and I'm going to double that money. What are you crying and complaining for? This is growth money. This isn't always survival money. This isn't what it should be used for. Of course, it'll be an expensive thing if you don't have collateral or you don't want to give it up, not sufficient enough. Don't have business credit established. I'm sorry, but that won't work. Your credit is already just trying to reach the surface. You have no business credit established. So let's go back into this. So the roadmap here is start up with $2 million if you need the funding sooner rather than later, or you may need it in the future, but you're just getting prepared for it. And then in the meantime, you start establishing your business credit. How long will that take me? I don't know if I have the time for it. I just work a lot of hours. I don't have a weekend to do this. Every excuse you can think of, I've heard of. Start with up to $2 million if you need that funding much sooner rather than later. And in the meantime, you can start establishing your business credit and start building accounts of 2 to 3 plus. I would say 3 plus accounts usually. 5 plus is better. And if you have already some, I would say continue to build your business credit and establish it in this way of 2 to 3 plus or so forth. And you can also explore the credit line hybrid, or no, that wouldn't work because your credit's not where it needs to be. That's where I would probably end it. And I may have a little bit more for certain individuals. And don't forget to build the right strategic partnership, maybe, and take this roadmap to heart, because a lot of people just neglect it. I wouldn't, then something like that, maybe, or less. And so over here, I wouldn't submit this information to everybody, every lender that can see this, blah, blah, blah. And then I might have some bonus stuff for you. Make sure you guys check that out. That'll be awesome stuff. I won't go into depth on what that is. And then I have some stuff like you may be able to contact me via text, send me one, messenger, chat. I might give you my number. I may not give it to you at the bottom. And then just some extra information. And in between all of that, again, you're getting all of the different services that you may or may not qualify for, but you'll see. What do I have to go through? What do I have to move up? And where am I now? Not, oh, I didn't get this offer. Well, too bad. My life is over. That's not the way you approach things. So we went quite a bit of time. I didn't think I'd be going for this long, but let me come over here to the comments. I'll leave it open for a few minutes. Hi, Lisa. How are you doing? I'm not sure if you're still here, but you say, I'm an independent contractor with not so good credit who needs a truck for an upcoming contract. Can you help me? So I've seen a lot of red flags already here. Independent contractor, not so good credit. Now, it's a question of more, do you have business credit established is what I would ask you. Where's your credit right now? Sometimes certain lenders will accept you with a 550 and above. Other ones need like 600 or 625, not 650 and above with a certain revenue or no revenue. And so independent contractor, that may be a red flag. Not so good with credit, that's another one. Perhaps you don't have business credit established for this upcoming contract that you're trying to take care of. I would ask you questions like what kind of truck you're trying to get, how much funding is that? And if I can help you, you'd be in the category right now just based off of that, and then have helped you out in the past. I know that. We've talked. If you don't have those things, can you guess what you would have to do? If you said, yeah, I got to build business credit. Yeah, I got to go the non-conventional route. I probably have to go through 401k if I have that. IRA, home equity line of credit, angel investors for startups, private equity. A few of these other options, those are just some of the many, guys. but you're going to be limiting your own mind because I want the quick answer. I want the quick solution. So when I say, hey, build business credit, oh, it takes a month to 3 months to actually start reporting, or 3 months more realistically. Well, what do you want? Do you want a business that's going to grow and expand in time, or are you always looking for the cookie cutter shortcut way where you'll probably get something, you'll probably go into a scam, come out of it the worst way possible? But Michael, I should have listened to you. I just racked up a lot of credit card debt. If I would have done business credit at least this way, this would have worked. Jumped into the credit line hybrid, built this out, fixed my credit repair in the meantime, maybe got that up to $2 million working capital lump sum. But I'm not stacking. I'm not getting one and I'm getting another after another. So that's what I would say. I can't say 100% just off of that, but from what I'm seeing, there may be some red flags. Everybody wants equipment. Everybody wants this and this, but can you actually back it up with revenue, back it up with credit, back it up with collateral and if that's not the case, well, start building business credit. I wish I had a better answer. And I know there's private equity, hedge funds, family and friends, self-funding, your own savings account, and there's a lot more. But I've been doing this for a while, and I see people who get upset. They don't even give me feedback. They come back, and they're like, "Well," I'm like, "Well, okay, why'd you do that?" Like, I explained it to you, especially those who have been explained to how it works. Well, you didn't build the right strategic partnership and the right lenders. Now we have to work at this backwards. How do I reverse engineer to get you in a better position? You may not like the answer, but that's how we have to start. So I got another minute, and then I'll get going. I haven't even had breakfast, guys. I was going to have breakfast. That's why I was trying to end this sooner. Like, I get if you have a weekend that you need to think about an offer. I don't always want to present to you it on a Friday. But at least say, hey, Michael, especially if you know me, it's like, hey, I'm going to think about it over the week. I need the weekend over to think about it. Or I'll probably follow up again and say, hey, do you need the weekend to think about it? Probably still didn't respond back to me. I'm like, okay, well, too much time spending on one person. I don't need to be doing that. So I'm going to go back to working on questionnaires a little bit later. I've done plenty of them today. I likely already texted you and emailed you, but I have a lot more to get done with. So please be patient with me. Fill out that questionnaire if you haven't down below. If you got value out of this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please share it with others who you feel will get value out of it. It can be a complete stranger, friend, or family member. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. And click that bell notification icon so you do not miss any future videos I will be coming out with. That is all for now. Have a great weekend, guys. Appreciate you all. Take care.